We love Arrow and you should too. Today we're going to be bringing you some information on the character Vixen, as she'll be appearing in the show. Now we get a short introduction to Vixen in the CW animated series entitled Vixen, with appearances from both Arrow and Flash. It was released in short clips that summed up to about a half an hour long, and they called the whole episode Season 1, and it gave her a little backstory. So we thought that we would let you know who she is according to the show, because her comic origin is a tad different. Mari McCabe was born in a Zimbisi village that ended up being attacked by a local warlord. Her mother ends up taking her to safety along with the Anansi totem, the relic that her family guards. Ultimately, Mari ends up in Detroit and she's placed into a foster home with her foster parents, Patty and Chuck. And when she was 10 years old, Patty gave her a necklace from her parents, which just so happened to be the Anansi totem. She ended up becoming a fashion designer and she left Detroit in search of her parents and sadly never found them. So she eventually decided to go back to Detroit, and during an interview with a fashion designer job, the man was rather rude and he insulted her work. So she ends up stabbing him in the hand with a pen and getting herself placed in jail. Chuck ends up bailing her out and they end up going to get something to eat, and as they were leaving, they end up being jumped by thugs who want her necklace due to its apparent value. She ends up touching the necklace and gaining the strength of what appears to be a gorilla. Mari then ends up going to see Dr. McAllister, who tells her about the legends behind the Anansi totem and how one could harness the life force of animals and use their powers. Mari then goes back home and we discover that Dr. McAllister is actually working with a mysterious woman. At home, Mari tells Chuck about the powers of the necklace and he finds it hard to believe. Even after he shows her the abilities, he still doesn't want to believe it, but he's forced to at that point. She is then visited by Arrow and the Flash, two well-known superheroes. This causes Mari to get nervous and she taps her necklace to gain the powers of a cheetah before running off. After a long chase between the Flash and Vixen, the Arrow shoots a net arrow around her, which throws her off balance, and she falls off the building. But she manages to tap the necklace once again, and she flies off like a bird. Caw-caw! When the two explain that they just wanted to talk, she finally decides to listen. They thought that she was a metahuman, but that's when they learned that she was nowhere near the Star Labs particle accelerator explosion that happened in Season 1 of Flash. She then told the two of them not to return to Chuck's home again. Mari goes back to Dr. McAllister to tell him about the new discoveries from her necklace. However, he apologizes to her and the mysterious woman appears and reveals herself to be Kusa. Kusa told Mari to hand the necklace over, but she discovered that it was bound to Mari. So Kusa told the men with her to kill Mari because she thought that that might break the binding. Mari manages to survive but is brought back to her home village where she learned that Kusa is actually her older sister. She then learned of her past and that Kusa believed that she was the actual rightful owner of the totem and that she had Anansi, her pet spider, that she believes to be the actual god Anansi, bite Mari. This ended up causing Mari to pass out and Kusa got her hands on the necklace finally. Mari later awakes with a herd of animals around her and a spirit of a lion explaining why her mother left. The animals then stand with her in her battle against Kusa. She ends up winning when she uses the Anansi spider on an open wound on her sister's arm and reclaiming the necklace. She then heads off to Detroit and starts fighting crime. After all of these events, she does end up being visited by Arrow and Flash one more time and they do offer to help her, but she told them that she wanted to figure this whole thing out on her own first. But she did ask them for a code name. The Flash then tells her that Cisco has been calling her Vixen and she fell in love with it. Mari's powers come from the Anansi totem and they grant her the power to harness the life force of Earth animals. She then gains the powers and abilities of these animals. We saw her take on the strength of an elephant when she lifted the table in Chuck's house and the power of a spider when she was walking up the wall trying to prove her powers to him. She also later used the power of a bird when she was able to fly after falling off the building, and she's also accessed the powers of a chameleon and was able to blend into her surroundings. And that is who Vixen is in the Arrowverse. But how will they add her into the show next? Leave your thoughts down below, and don't forget we have our comic book origins over on Comicstorian. I'm Benny for Comic TV, and I'll see you guys next time right here.